If there's one thing the Delta Force Hawk Ops Alpha did, it was expose Battlefield and the game's leadership for how little they care about the player. While many of us were cautiously optimistic that Delta Force was a Battlefield replacement, a few days of public alpha testing reassured many shooter fans that yes, Delta Force is a real threat to not just Battlefield, but perhaps a reality check for the entire shooter genre. While the game, at least in its current form, is far from perfect, it represents a much more promising vision than what we've seen from other shooters, especially Battlefield. A free-to-play shooter with AAA graphics, multiple pillars of content ranging from core multiplayer to an extraction mode, a deep gunsmithing endgame, and nearly more weapons in its alpha than 2042 had after 2 years of paid service. While the game does rather shamelessly rip off Battlefield's art direction, animations, and operators, I'm looking at you, knockoff Falk.
Your front, the whole meat sack.
The game delivers on what 2042 promised. A robust, multiple-pillar approach to gameplay with even more content, more control, and more options like a single-player campaign and a ranked multiplayer. Delta Force represents a huge value during a time where other AAA studios like EA, Bungie, Activision, Sony, and Microsoft are busy laying off staff and cutting corners. And while some aspects of Delta Force will fall short, like the game's goofy voice acting, overall this new contender to the AAA space is already getting to work setting itself apart from the competition with much deeper weapon customization, a more robust gameplay loop, and a greater depth to its content. While Battlefield 2042 promised an extraction mode with Hazard Zone, the return of all-out war, and next-level mechanics, the franchise has been falling further and further behind year after year, dropping its single-player campaign, discontinuing Hazard Zone, and slowing content to a drip feed and a game that already had almost nothing to begin with. And while Battlefield has every right to come out swinging next year with a world-class shooter, EA has been promising that for several years at this point and is only continuing to fall further and further behind. Say what you will about the FPS market, its trends, and Tencent's newest entry to the space, but Delta Force and the devs over at Team Jade understand that in order to gain traction and eventually profit, they need to over-deliver with a product that satisfies all the complaints players have with the legacy franchises. Hell, the devs have even had a sit-down to discuss their vision for anti-cheat, something Activision and DICE would never be caught doing. While DICE refuses to address core issues and uses select creators as puppets, and Call of Duty continues sketchy practices like engagement-optimized matchmaking, Team Jade has opened its doors to creators, asking for feedback, inviting fans to try their product for free, and has openly discussed features like anti-cheat with the fanbase. Delta Force seems to be made by real fans of the genre, developers who've played games like Battlefield, Warzone, Tarkov, and Grayzone, where they've now cherry-picked the best parts of each property and built a rather complete and complex package. Instead of trying to invest in the next trend, Delta Force Hawk Ops simply improves on the established gameplay and combines it into a much healthier, more robust, and enjoyable package. But with all that being said, hit subscribe, sit back, and let's break this review down piece by piece, starting with my favorite experience, the extraction mode, Hazard Ops. While Hazard Ops seems to be just another extraction shooter at face value, it's honestly a big middle finger to Battlefield's Hazard Zone, as it's the accessible, cross-platform extraction-style game mode that Battlefield was supposed to deliver. And while other games like Tarkov and Grayzone offer perhaps a more in-depth extraction experience, Delta Force offers Hazard Ops as a congruent counterpart to its traditional multiplayer experience, with weapons, operators, and gadgets that symmetrically carry over. It's honestly a totally even experience, just a different flavor. where it takes your operator, weapon, and cosmetics of choice and mixes them up into a new arrangement instead of a tacked-on, awkward afterthought like Hazard Zone. It feels much more cohesive like Warzone is to Call of Duty. All of the parts are the same, but your experience with them is totally fresh and unique.
Keep the following in mind. Shoot, loot, and time to scoot.
And while I do enjoy the core multiplayer, as someone who's relatively new to PC gaming and still games with a lot of console friends, Hazard Ops has really won me over with its deep yet digestible and inviting experience. On the surface, Hazard Ops offers a hybrid of milsim and casual shooter mechanics that never feel punishing, yet offer a lot of tactility and control during engagements, akin to one of my favorite shooters, Insurgency Sandstorm, but with a lot more polish, both mechanically and graphically.
Target located! Loading new magazine.
While the AI can be rather dumb, the core loop of going in, stuffing your backpack with loot, and making it out alive is a simple yet engaging proposition. Throw in the occasional enemy team, contract, and resource gathering for upgrades, and the mode, from my experience, has excellent pacing and purpose. Minutes of slow, methodical looting suddenly interrupted with all-out action. And what really drives this home is the phenomenal map design. While these maps don't really make sense compared to a more robust, casual game like Battlefield, the tight hallways, dense urban environments, and complexity shines during these more tactical, slow-paced, milsim-esque engagements. The environments offer tons of small, incremental cover that lends itself well to the revive and healing system and never makes you feel like you have to rush. Extractions feel earned and sometimes opportunistic, like when a limited time extraction just happens to occur right next to your position. And once extracted, having the option to sell or auction off that loot, turning it into money for weapons and gear within the gunsmith, completes the game's core dopamine-filled loop. Go in, fight for loot, extract, cash out, and then build your dream weapons and loadout. Hazard Ops is perhaps the most promising part of this game in my opinion, as it delivers a more complex yet inviting shooter experience to a more casual fan across PC and console. However, it's not without its issues. First off, Hazard Ops' performance seems to struggle a little more than the traditional multiplayer from my experience. While I was keeping the game above 110 FPS at extreme settings at 4K, I was getting a lot of stuttering and occasional frame drops into the 70s, with crashing being rare but still present. While this may be an alpha network issue, it's still a noticeable pain point. Next, going in and out of inventories seemed to change my mouse sensitivity, often dropping it drastically, making it hard to move. This could be a larger issue with my hardware, but it seemed to happen while exiting inventories and doesn't occur in other games. Finally, the menu system just seems like a little too much. It's sort of giving Division 2 vibes, but not in a good way. For a free-to-play game that's coming to console, it's just a ton of information and is sometimes hard to understand what's important and what's not. Making more important sections like your stash be more bold would be a huge improvement because everything is treated evenly within the system, making the information compete for attention. Again, the design is pretty and well art-directed, but may need a little better structure for all the casual fans that will eventually pick up this game on console and maybe even mobile. But in general, this mode is what makes me most excited for the game. It's not just going to offer a whole new experience to my console friends, but it'll do so in stunning fashion, with a compelling gameplay loop, deep weapon customization, and more tactical gameplay than most console fans have ever got to experience. Now, Havoc Warfare is exactly what you'd expect, and for the most part, that's a good thing. It's honestly just a slightly more mil-sim-ish Battlefield. 64 players, vehicles across land, air, and sea, 4-man squads with revives, large objective capture points, squad spawning, and so on. Except Havoc Warfare, at least in the alpha, focuses on what is essentially breakthrough instead of conquest, but it works well nonetheless, with more detailed, denser, and overall better designed maps with lanes and proper layouts. Delta Force's gunplay offers a lot less advanced movement from what I've seen, thus slowing down the gameplay to a more manageable, aim-focused experience with what feels like a decent TTK. Semi-auto rifles are my preferred option, at least on mouse and keyboard, but everything I tried seemed to have its purpose, and with such amazing gun crafting, you can design your gun down to the millimeter, literally adjusting optics and grips back and forth to dial in your exact stats. Delta Force somehow gets weapon customization and large map design right, while games like Call of Duty and especially Battlefield seem like they can't even be bothered to try. Players want agency over their weapons and customization, and Delta Force nails it across beautiful weapon models, hyper-real environments, and total control over the player's experience from attachments to cosmetics. Again, Delta Force offers depth and detail where Battlefield turns a blind eye. Graphics are more realistic, weapon sounds are more metallic, and the game is overall more engaging, where I feel this alpha offers more than 2042 has over the past 2 years. Instead of cheap limited-time modes, Delta Force doubles down on progression systems and a more engaging core loop, something Battlefield really needs to figure out. And again, while Havoc Warfare is great, there are issues, but in general, I think we just need to see more. We need to see more operators, spend more time testing the balance, and seeing how this game operates across new environments with more vehicle combat and other game modes. There's a lot of content here, and with it, real possibilities we could see inconsistencies in quality, balance, and so on. But as of right now, Havoc Warfare is a solid, if anything predictable foundation to what could be a massive and content-rich game, with more complex gunplay, customization, and core systems than we've seen in the AAA shooter market in years. And that promise alone is what got me supporting Delta Force. If anything, it should be a big disruptor, especially to Battlefield, begging the question, why the fuck would you play that when you can play Delta Force? But guys, drop those comments below and tell me your thoughts on the alpha. For all things Battlefield and Delta Force, stay tuned and subscribe. And as always, thank you guys for watching.